The dolly zoom, the vertigo effect, the push-pull, or the 1,000 other names that it's known by is a really wacky camera technique that you've definitely seen before, but you might not fully understand its origin or the technical proficiency that goes into pulling it off. Hey, I'm Tom Graham for Envato Tuts Plus, and I'm a film nerd, so let me walk you through the dizzying history of the dolly zoom.
I think we should get off the road. Get off the road!
The technique is commonly known as the dolly zoom or the vertigo effect, but as I alluded to in the intro, it's also known by many other names. But basically, it's a camera technique that was first introduced in the 1958 film Vertigo, directed by Alfred Hitchcock, hence why Vertigo is one of the most common names for the shot. The technique involves moving the camera toward or away from the subject while simultaneously adjusting the focal length on a zoom lens, and this maintains the subject's size within the frame. It creates a distorted perspective and gives the feeling that the character is being pushed through space even though they are remaining still. So that's where the other names for the shot comes from as well, the dolly zoom. It's a combination of dollying the camera and zooming the lens. Now, legend has it that Hitchcock once fainted at a party and then asked Erman Roberts, who was a second unit camera operator who he was working with at the time, to try to replicate that feeling on film. But I wasn't invited to that party, so don't quote me on that. It's also said that Hitchcock was trying to get this to work about 18 years earlier during the production of Rebecca in 1940, but he couldn't quite nail the technique at the time, so kind of shelved it until Vertigo. Now, since its introduction in Vertigo, the dolly zoom has been used in numerous films for dramatic effect. The disorientating nature of the shot can create suspense, demonstrate a character's sense of fear or anxiety, or it can be used to demonstrate a moment of intense clarity or realization that the character might be experiencing. And because it's often used for dramatic effect, this technique can then be flipped on its head and utilized as a punchline in comedic moments.
Try the safety button.
Yeah, that to me on stage.
Cock it.
Another very popular example of this effect is used in Jaws, where the dolly zoom was used to create a sense of realization when the shark approaches the beach and begins attacking the townsfolk. We'll come back to that example a little later on in the video. And the third in the trilogy of the most popular dolly zoom shots to discuss when talking about this technique goes to Goodfellas, where it was used to demonstrate Henry's descent into paranoia by literally showing his surroundings closing in on him, reflecting his ever-growing sense that his capture is inevitable.
On the surface, of course, everything was supposed to be fine. We were supposed to be discussing my case, but I had the feeling Jimmy was trying to sense whether I was going to rat him out to save my neck.
Cool, right? But how is it achieved? Well, I'll tell you exactly how it's achieved right after I tell you how to achieve some amazing results with your edits by subscribing to Envato Elements, which is a fantastic service that gives you complete access and unlimited downloads of millions of creative assets like stock footage, video templates, music, and much more. There's literally millions of assets available to download and use right now, and it's downright affordable. So make sure you click the link in the description below to learn more about Envato Elements today. And now let's get back to the dolly zoom. So as I mentioned a little earlier on, the dolly zoom is achieved by moving the camera towards or away from the subject while simultaneously adjusting the focal length, or in other terms, the zoom of the lens. And this keeps the subject the same size in the frame. This creates a distorted perspective and creates that really wacky visual effect that we're so used to seeing. So here in this Jaws example, you can see that we start on a close-up shot of Martin Brody, which is captured on a telephoto lens. And as the shot progresses, the camera is physically moved towards the subject on a dolly, and at the same time, the operator is zooming out at the same speed. And so when that shot comes to its conclusion, we're now in the exact same close-up shot, but using a wide-angle lens. Not only have we achieved the unsettling effect of the dolly zoom, but we've also moved to a new focal length, which in itself is a visual technique used to quietly convey information to the audience. A telephoto lens compresses the image, meaning that the foreground and the background appear closer to each other. And a wide-angle lens, well, it does the opposite. It creates an instance where there is more separation between the foreground and the background. When it comes to filming faces, such in the Jaws example, a telephoto lens is often seen as a more flattering choice because a wide-angle lens tends to end up stretching out and distorting the features of the face. And now hopefully you can see that using the dolly zoom effect allows the filmmaker to rapidly change from one extreme focal length to the other without having to shift the subject within the frame. That's the beauty of the shot.
I'm a trend pimp. Well, it stops here!
Today, the dolly shot can be achieved with specialized camera rigs that use remotely operated motors that can be pre-programmed for precise control for both the camera movement and for the zoom of the lens. And given all of the advancements that have been made in the animation and CG side of the industry, the dolly zoom has also found its way into animated films, where the filmmakers have precise control over every single aspect of the image, and that includes the generated cameras, which makes it really fun to be able to pull off this physical camera technique in a completely virtual environment. There's a few really famous animated examples, and it's not necessarily just in contemporary animated films either. So check out this iconic scene from The Lion King that comes at the pivotal moment in the first act. It's a truly memorable shot that scarred a generation.
Yes. Well, forgive me for not leaping for joy. Bad back, you know.
There's also two examples from Ratatouille, used in two very different ways to relate two very different ideas to the audience. In the first example, we have Remy watching Chef Gusteau on TV, and the dolly zoom slowly brings those two characters together, creating a sense that the two are bonded. Meanwhile, at the conclusion of the film, the dolly zoom is enacted in the more traditional sense to show Anton Ego's transportation back to his childhood as he takes a bite of the titular dish. So that's the dolly zoom. It's a technical process that results in a very specialized and highly stylized shot and has been used to great effect for over 60 years. And in my opinion, it's going to be used for years to come. I wonder what your thoughts are on the shot and how you think we might see it implemented in future film and TV shows. I didn't even get to talking about how crazy this shot looks when you swap out a dolly for a drone. What would we call that, a drolly shot? Anyway, I hope you got something out of this video. I really love diving into different filmmaking techniques like this. Like I said at the start, I'm a film nerd. I actually covered the history of the aspect ratio recently, so if you liked this video, make sure to go and check out that one as well. I'll link it over at the end of this video or down in the description. Also, let me know if you have any other great examples of the dolly zoom that I didn't cover in this video. And as always, don't forget to get subscribed to the Envato Tuts Plus YouTube channel. Okay, until next time, stay funky.